I am Jin.
I'm Brian. Mike?
And we're the Three Stooges. I don't know why I said that. There's three of us today. But Brian is a guest, and he's a good friend of ours. And he's been boxing with Floyd and Lloyd, the Weaver brothers, who are professional boxers. He's been training with them for like
10 years or so.
10 years, a good 10 years. So, what I wanted to do was show everybody, because on one of the forums, it's martialtalk.com, which is a really good forum for martial arts. And they brought up this one question about Chinese martial arts, Chinese boxing, and Wing Chun, which is what does it look like? And I thought that was a really interesting question. So I wanted to kind of show you a comparison, side-by-side comparison between Chinese boxing, or Wing Chun, and the traditional American boxing. Okay? So first is, let's just even look at the stance. Okay? So the stance is already a little different. So the boxing stance is going to be a little bit more sideways. You already noticed it's a little bit more sideways. And the reason why boxers do that is because in the ring, they want to hide the points. Any shot to the body is a point. So they don't want to expose the places where you can score on them. So they're going to turn a little bit more sideways. Okay. You notice that his elbows and his hands, right? They're close to his face. Everything's compact and brought in towards his middle, right? Like this, which is a good boxing stance. Okay. Chinese boxing, okay, is same thing, except we're not sideways, okay? So we're going to face you, okay? So there's only really two types of footwork, okay? And when it comes to dealing with footwork, you're going to see two different types. Okay, one is basketball footwork. Boxing and a lot of young martial arts, young man's martial arts, like Taekwondo and so on, kickboxing, Muay Thai, they rely a lot on basketball footwork. So you'll see basketball footwork it's like this, right? And they dribble the ball, they stand sideways, right? They stand to protect the ball, right? But they're constantly moving, they're light on their feet. The reason why they're light on their feet is because that's primarily their defense. Okay, so they want to be able to hit and evade and move, right? So very light on your feet, but it's a young man's art. It takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of physical attributes. Okay, the other one is an old man's martial art, which is like Chinese boxing, or even grappling. You'll see wrestlers, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, right? These are all old man martial arts, right? Older, and when you see martial arts like that, they use a football stance. It's a football stance. So it's not sideways, it faces you. Okay? And the stance is very forward, right? And it's designed to, and it's very planted on the ground. They're not on the balls of the feet. They're planted on the ground, and they're usually very low, right? But what they want to do is be able to stop, like in football, a whole body power rushing in. So you want to be able to stop that power. Okay? So you can't do that sideways, okay? You have to do it facing, right? Okay? So it's the two different types of footwork. So you have football and you have basketball, right? One is light on the feet, the other one's much more grounded, okay? So that's already, there's a big difference, okay? Another thing is, now we'll talk about elbow position. Okay, face the camera. Now, you'll see is that the elbow position, okay, they're always taught to, and the hand position, they're always taught to protect the chin, right? See, Brian's doing a good job protecting his chin with the glove, right? Okay, and his elbow is tucked to his body. That's to protect the points in the body, or the body shot, the body hooks, right? Same thing with this side, okay? So everything is very compact. Like I said, he brings everything in, okay? Chinese boxing, we don't want to do that. Okay, what we want to do is we want to keep our elbow structure out. That's why I always tell you when we're defending, it's at least 1 fist distance, always away from your body. So we never want it to collapse to our body. This would be like a boxer, okay, boxer. But we keep our elbow structure out, at least one fist distance. Okay, so always. So our elbow structure is out. Okay, because our hands, our third stick, is our primary defense. Because we're not using basketball footwork, right? So we can't rely on the footwork or the evasive athletic ability to use that as a defense. So our primary defense is our Wu Sao hand, our hands, our elbow structure, okay? Which is why we keep it out, okay? We don't want to collapse, we want to keep it out, okay? So those are already some differences that you see. So Chinese boxing will be more like a wrestling stance or a judo stance or a jiu-jitsu stance when they stand up, which is a little bit more facing, or football stance. These are all football stance, right? More planted to the ground, okay, and ready to take whole body power, charge, right? Okay? All right. Now we'll go into some of the punches, right? So Mike's going to hold mitts. Okay, and right now we're just going to work the lead jab, okay? So Brian's going to show you lead jab, and he's going to step into it. So from here, yeah, okay, good, yeah. So you see his delivery, okay, good, stop. Okay, now when he goes to punch, right, you notice that this hand sticks to that side, okay? He doesn't let that hand down, okay? And he turns the wrist, which turns his shoulder, which protects his chin at the same time, right? So this is all done as he's stepping into the punch and rotating his wrist, okay? That's a boxer's jab, lead jab. Go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's it. Okay? Yeah. Good. Okay. So that's a boxer's lead jab, which is again, it's very effective, right? It's in the ring. It can also be used in the street. Okay. But you notice also is that when he punches, all his power is at the boxer's lead jab, or his straight cross, or his straight lead jab, any straight punch that a boxer throws. Okay, the most dangerous all his power point is the last 3 inches of the punch. Okay, that's where you don't want to be, right? Okay, if you're getting hit, the last 3 inches of that glove, you don't want to be there, because that's where that's his maximum extension, maximum power out his leg, right? He drives from his rear leg out, or his front leg, and rotates, right? So, the extension, or the very end of that punch, okay, that's where he's going to be dangerous. Okay, so Chinese boxing, okay, our stance is, again, it's more football, right? So when we punch, okay, our elbow comes into the middle, right, and then we deliver it from our hip, okay, and I always tell all my students to take the hand, or the fist, or if you're wearing a glove, take the glove, okay, and put it way back here to your elbow. So put the glove to your elbow. So if this now becomes your fist, your elbow, okay, pretend like this part doesn't exist, right? Your elbow is now this is your glove, this is your fist. So if we want to punch, okay, if I want to punch the glove and I try to hold my ground, see, I have to lean forward. This is really bad for me, right? That's how come in Chinese boxing, you have to move your whole body in. Okay? It's so because we're pretending like we're hitting with the elbow, because we are hitting with the elbow. Okay? So when we punch, it's the hip delivers the elbow, and the elbow delivers the fist, right? But we stay relaxed, right? That's it. But you see the whole body coming in. Another thing that you'll notice too is that when we do this, we punch both sides of our shoulder. So we don't go like this and turn, but this side swings and turns off. Okay? If this side turns off, then it's going to swing like this. My body's going to swing. My shoulder's going to swing. This becomes like a boxer now. Okay? This is no good. No good for us. Right? So from here, when I punch with this hand is also attacking. Why? Because we always attack with both hands. That's also one of the big differences between conventional or American boxing and Chinese boxing. Okay? Chinese boxing, we always attack with both hands. Okay? We use both hands. at the same time. Even if I'm not hitting anything with this hand, it still attacks the center while this hand attacks the center. Okay? See? So both sides attack. Okay? Never punch just one side. Both sides. Boom. Okay? All right? So that's our lead jab. All right? So now, if Brian comes in and he goes jab cross, okay? Comes in jab cross. Okay, good. Do it again. Pass the jab cross. Good. Good. And you notice how, face the camera, he throw the slow, throw up the lead jab, and then the cross. Okay? You see how his shoulders swing and his stance rotates on, he goes up into what's called a toe heel sway. So lead jab, he toe. See that? His heel is off the ground here. Okay? Okay? This is called toe heel sway. When he goes to throw the cross, he's going to plant that foot and raise the other heel. Now his other heel is up. Okay? This is called toe heel sway. Okay? And that's to help rotate the shoulders and rotate the hip to get maximum torque of the body, to get the maximum reach, okay, of that straight punch or that cross. Okay? Again, that's basketball footwork. Okay? When we throw the jab and the cross, okay, when we're here, our cross, our lead jab is here. We're punching with our elbow, not the hand. If you punch like this, okay, see how I'm leaning forward? Okay, because I'm focusing on hitting with the hand. See? I'm slightly leaning forward. This is no good. Okay? But if you practice hitting with the elbow, see, my body's always underneath because I'm not overextending, because I'm focusing on my elbow, not my hand. Okay? So our lead jab is here, then our cross comes in just same direction, which is our center line, right? And comes right on top of the hand. Okay? So a boxer's lead jab is like a piston. I always call it a piston. He goes lead jab, and then he goes cross. See, it's like a piston. His one arm goes in, one arm goes back. Then he extends, that hand goes back, this hand extends. So it's a straight line like a piston, okay? Chinese boxing, we don't do that. Chinese boxing, when we go lead jab, okay, and we go cross, our hands go in a conveyor belt, if you picture a big fat cigar shape, right? My hands are constantly following that cigar shape, okay, like a conveyor belt on top of the cigar and the bottom of the cigar. See that? So this is our lead jab and cross. Okay? And again, focusing on the elbows, not the hand. If I focus on the hand, then you're going to see it look like this. See? It already feels funny to me. Okay? And this is also a good way to, if you focus on hand, a lot of times the elbow pops up. This is no good. We already know that, right? And a lot of times, too, is that you hyperextend your elbow, okay? Because you're focusing on extending. This is no good. You focus on dropping the elbow or hitting with the elbow, it naturally pins your shoulder, right? And you never feel like you have to fully extend, okay? So it has a little give in it, which makes it safe so that you don't hyperextend anything, okay? Now, the lead hook and the rear hook. So he's going to lead hook. Good. That's a lead hook. Good. And then the rear hook, other side. Rear hook. Good. Again, he's using the toe heel sway to turn and get that torque of that punch. Okay? Now, in Chinese boxing, people say we don't have a hook, but that's not entirely true. Okay? We do have a hook. Okay? But a boxer's hook, okay, when he throws the rear hook, you're going to notice, see his elbow comes up, okay? And they're trained to punch either like this or like this, either way. Both are correct for boxers, right? It's usually whichever they're most comfortable with, okay? But you notice his elbow comes up, okay? And then as soon as he finishes the hook, he always brings it back, that elbow down, okay? So he's not stupid. He's not going to leave it out there for you, right? He's going to hook and then right away drop that elbow, okay? Got it? In Chinese boxing, we also have a hook, okay? I taught you guys this the other day. But we don't raise the elbow so much, okay? And that's our number 2 line and number 3 line, okay? So our hook, okay, this will be like a boxer's hook, this delivery method, okay? But our delivery method is like this. We keep our elbow down and we cut across shoulder line to our opponent's shoulder line, all right? This way, okay? This is our hook. If I do this, right, and at the same time I start to raise my elbow, right, and I raise my elbow sharp, this is the delivery boxer's hook now, okay? We just drop the elbow, okay? And the reason why we do this is we use it to cut as a cutting tool, right, or a bridging tool, either one, right? So what we do is this is his attacking arm, right? We bridge it or we crash it to get this connection, right? See, my elbow is down. Then I continue with punching with what? Now my fist. If I punch with focus on my fist, my hand's going to do what? It's going to go on. It's going to try to conform to his shape. This is no good. Okay. If I put the fist back here in my elbow, as soon as I get this connection, what do? I continue to punch with this elbow. See? And that's our hook. Okay? So we get the bridge, right? And then we get that connection, and now I punch with my elbow across to number 2 line. Okay? That's it. Okay? Where a boxer would go over this arm to counter the straight jab or this way, right? Got it? He's going to try to slip and then hook. Okay? Got it? So a boxer is going to try to conform or try to adapt or try to counter your shape. Right? Go around your shape. Okay? Chinese boxing, we don't go around your shape. Right? We don't care really about your arms. Our focus is your center. Okay? So that's how come we don't chase around your arms. Okay? That's how come all I want to do is from here is get the connection, right? My punches, I get the connection. Once I get that bridge, right? I continue to cut with my elbow, right? Why? Because I want his center line. See? Now I get his center line. Okay? So that's our hook. See? Our hook. Okay? And last one is uppercut. Brooke's getting tired. We're almost done, Brooke. She's holding the camera. Okay. Yeah, so now lead uppercut. Okay? Good. Let's see how he uses his whole body from the ground up. And he uses that toe heel sway, which is vital to boxing. Okay? You can't do boxing flat footed. Some people try, there's no power. Toe heel sway is everything in boxing. Okay? That means one heel is always down, one heel is always up to deliver the power. Okay? Right, good, nice. Okay, so our uppercut, okay, they also say, Wing Chun, we don't have an uppercut. But it's not the uppercut, it's the angle. See? Come on. If I'm here and he uppercuts my chin, don't hit me. Okay? Right? This is the angle. See the angle? If he goes the other side, see? This is the angle. This is our 70-degree angle, roughly. Okay? So we're used to that angle because we do it in our form all the time, right? Okay? This angle. We call that what? Medium range. Okay? Bent arm range. So it's also in our forms, okay? And we'll get into the second and third form down the road, okay? But right now, I'm still trying to get through all the material for the first form, which is what we're doing. I know it's a lot, but this is our uppercut. Is we use it, and you see it, and again, we use it to get to the center line, right? And our uppercut, just like that. So when we uppercut, okay, we use both hands, right? And we're in this bent arm shape, okay? Right here. This is our bent arm shape. So we do have an uppercut. We also have an uppercut. But we just don't call it uppercut. It's just this angle. Okay, see? It's this angle. It can be a palm. It can be Fuchsau. It can be, it's just the angle. The angle is the 70 degrees, right? Or the medium range. Whenever you punch, my punches, whenever I'm like this is the angle. This is an uppercut. Right? If I just move it to here, it's still the same angle. I haven't done anything. But now people call that an uppercut. This is, technically this looks also an uppercut, right? Okay? So don't look at so much the technique, okay? Don't try to pin it down to one movement. Just look at the angle, right? Boxing is straight lines, and also they have a good 90-degree hook, right? Or a 70-degree hook, and also uppercut, right? Which makes them dangerous. And they use that and fuel it with the basketball footwork, okay? Which is why it's such a great young man's art. But as you get older and older and older, you cannot do basketball footwork. Okay? It just gets harder and harder to maintain. Okay? That's why it's hard sometimes to try to do Chinese boxing using basketball footwork. A lot of Wing Chun and Chinese boxing styles, they do. They try to adopt the old man's method, but try to fuel it by using the basketball footwork. So it's kind of trying to mix the two. It's very difficult. I'm not going to say impossible, but it's really difficult. I've never seen anybody who can do it.
Roy Jones got to take up Chinese boxing.
Roy
He can't
Jones.
do the basketball footwork anymore.
Roy Jones, he may be the one. Right? He could do it. Anyways, today we kind of just wanted to show you just the kind of a comparison of the two, right? Because Chinese martial art, Wing Chun, really is not that different from American boxing if you think about it, okay? It's just the delivery of the power is different, okay? And because we're in a more football stance, in a facing stance, it requires us to kind of adapt to use both hands to not only attack, but also defend, because we're not moving side to side like a boxer. We have to use our hands and our structure to not only attack, but also defend. If not, if we only attack from here, then you're going to get clocked. So we have to attack and defend, right? Because our feet aren't doing it. So we have to use another way of defending. Boxers, they're using basketball footwork, and they're hitting, moving, boom. Their footwork becomes their primary defense, right? Their body mechanics become secondary defense, right? Okay, so that's how come they move quick and light and so on, and not just boxing, but any young man's martial art. Okay, so the only difference really, as far as when you're doing or sparring your Chinese boxing, and we're going to get into more and more sparring. I know everybody wants more and more sparring, and they want to see me spar. Maybe we'll Brian and I will do some sparring. It'll hurt me though. But Chinese boxing, to be honest, it looks just like boxing, except we don't turn our shoulders and we stay planted, right? And we move like a tank. That's the only difference, you know. So and
We're better.
no, we're not. Don't say that, Mike.
The internet's gonna go crazy.
Yeah. But the chi sao is where it also makes a little bit of difference. Okay, the chi sao or the sensitivity. Okay, but you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't think sensitivity is going to save you and do all this. It's not. Its primary job, your chi sao drills and all your sensitivity drills. The primary job of your chi sao is to what? Get your hands
Up,
on
top,
top of
the opponent's arms.
your opponent's arms. That's
I don't know
right.
where you're going.
He gets gold star. Okay? You understand? So if Brian's here, you know, but if Brian's here, he's a boxer, and he lead jabs, he's already on top of my arm. He's on top. He has a big advantage here. See that? Okay. He punches the other side. See, he's on top of my arm. He's already big advantage. Okay. So the chi sao in Chinese boxing, if Brian punches, right, the chi sao, if he's on top, it's so that we can, or punch, it's so that we can get on top of his arm. So now we have an advantage, right? Okay. So I'm on bottom, but then I get on top. Okay, and then I keep going. Yeah. Understand? So chi sao is really just to stay on top of your opponent's arm. Okay? But while you're on top and you're firing, it looks like boxing. It looks like the same, right? So for us, it really is not, there's not a big difference, okay? It shouldn't look, that's how come I say it shouldn't look so rigid and stiff like you see a lot of this stuff on the YouTube where they're like this, like row, like this. That's not Chinese boxing. Chinese boxing should be relaxed. You should be comfortable. You should be moving, right? But you should not be bouncing around. Your head should be level, okay? But once you get in, he punch. My punch. Once I'm in, right, okay, right. Our boxing looks just like regular boxing. Once I'm inside, then all we do is just, right. That's it. Okay. If his arms goes on top of my arm, right, I use the chi sao now, just for a second to get back on top, then back in. That's it. You don't sit there and chi sao with the guy. Okay? But you use the chi sao in that split second to get from a bad position to a better position so that you can fire. Okay? And when you fire, it should look just like boxing. Different angles, cutting, but always attacking the center. That's it. Okay? So, thank you for joining us. Okay, so that's just a brief gloss over the differences. And boxing is no better or worse than Chinese boxing, okay? And Chinese boxing is no better or worse than conventional boxing or any other method, okay? If you're young and you're fast, do basketball footwork. Practice basketball footwork. It makes no sense, right? Because it's such a big advantage for you, okay? But as you get older, you're going to have to eventually get back to football footwork, okay? Because you're not going to be able to keep up with the young, fast guys anymore, okay? All right, so thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Anything?
Chinese boxing.
Chinese. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, thank you very much. Take care.